you gonna?
All right, well, we'll get started so we don't keep you guys forever. And thanks for showing up tonight, guys. So I just want to talk about a couple things before Kristina and Megan take the reins on this call. First of all, Coaching at a Glance starts on Monday. I already have the group set up, so if you guys need to be added, let me know and I will add you to the group. Make sure that you really start inviting this week and breadcrumbing, making sure you're really sharing your story and being authentic. You need to make sure that you really be yourself and share what you're doing as a coach. Share your challenge groups. You have to think of this business as a store. You know, you don't open a store and never tell anybody about it. You have to make sure you're sharing it and sharing it regularly. And again, make sure you be yourself, because that really is what matters and that's what attracts people to you. And it's really going to attract the right people to you. So remember, every one of us has a following. We kind of have a tribe that's out there for us. I mean, there's people who really just click with Kristina. There's people that really click with Megan. There's people that click with me. So you have to make sure that we're out there sharing ourselves, because so these people can find us. And so when you go to invite people, they have an idea of what you're doing, and they want to find out more about it because they see how you're living. They see how coaching and these challenge groups have impacted your life. So make sure you're out there sharing your story, breadcrumbing this week. If you don't know what breadcrumbing means, it means just simply sharing little tidbits about how coaching has impacted your life. I love to share how I love coaching. So things I love about coaching is being able to do it at home, you know, having my kids here, not, you know, having to go to a 9-to-5 job. I love that I can take my office anywhere. That was what I shared today, that I was working out at the barn while I was finishing up my ride. You know, maybe you like the flexibility of it. Maybe you like the financial freedom it's created. Whatever it is, start sharing those little tidbits of your life and how this has impacted you. Even if it's minimal, you'll never, you know, you'll always be surprised what kind of attracts people to coaching. It could simply just be the accountability and having a great team to plug into that draws people to it. So make sure you're sharing it at least 2 to 3 times a week, and doing it consistently, because people are going to start to notice. They may not be commenting, they may not be liking, but they're going to take notice. So when you send out like an invite or you make an inviting post, it's either a challenge group or Coaching at a Glance, you're going to have people interested. But it takes time to build that up, and it takes consistency with your posting. So make sure that you guys are doing that. And if you need help with how to word things, or you know you're not sure how to share it, post in the team page, because that's what we're here for. Or start to follow other coaches and kind of see what they're doing, how they're wording things, just to get an idea. So with that, I wanted to hand it over to Megan and Kristina. They went to First Steps to Success with Dani Johnson a couple weeks ago and just had a phenomenal experience there, and they were fired up. I was getting messages from both of them the whole weekend, and it made me really sad that I wasn't able to go. But they gained a lot of information, a lot of knowledge from that conference, and I wanted them to take a few minutes and share it with all of you, because I think it's really valuable information. So with that, Kristina and Megan, go ahead.
Hey guys. So there was so much content information when Kristina and I were chatting a couple days ago about what we wanted to share with you. Seriously, I stayed for the 3 days. Kristina, I think, was there for the 2 days from, you know, morning till 6, 7. One night was almost 8 o'clock that we got done, because there was just so much, and she's so passionate. So we've tried to take the little bits of information that we think are kind of the most important, and condense it to be able to share with you guys. But, you know, if it's something that you are interested in, I'll just give a little plug. Like, I seriously have been watching Summer go for almost 4 years, and tons of other people on our team. And I honestly thought I was going to go and like crack open this big conspiracy and like, hi, you guys drink the Kool-Aid. There's no way it can be this amazing. And I was like shocked, and I had to eat some humble pie and check my ego at the door, because it really did change a lot for me. So the next one is in Cleveland, July 9th, 10th, 11th. If that's something that you guys even think that maybe could possibly help, I would highly encourage you to be in Cleveland in July. I know Prentice and I are coming, and tons of other coaches that were there this weekend or a couple weekends ago are be there too. So when she started on Saturday, we started with the 4 conditions, and she talked a lot about when she got started. If you don't know her story, she was homeless, a waitress, and living out of her car. And she got started and found a mentor who gave her 4 conditions that she wanted to, that she had to abide by to be able to work with him. And the first one is that excuses are not an option. Excuses are just well-planned lies. And, you know, there's so many times that I've used an excuse of why I didn't get my invites done or my follow-ups. So kind of thinking back about your business life, your relationship, your parenting, whatever it is, I found that these were really applicable kind of to everything, not just the business piece. So number 1 was excuses are not option. They're simply well-placed lies. Number 2 was that if you give any opinions or suggestions, he wasn't going to work with her. Sorry, guys. And that one hit me. Kristina, you kind of had a reaction to that one as well, right? You're still muted. You're muted.
Sorry. I don't want Chuck laughing in the background. Yeah, so that one was, go ahead and name that one again.
The if you give any opinions or suggestions, I won't work with you.
Yeah. So I go back and forth with this one. Dani, you need to understand too, like Dani is very straight and to the point, and very, I feel like some of the things that she says are very aggressive. She really like literally gut punches you when you're sitting in the audience and there's like 1,600 people there, and she will gut punch each of you sitting in the chair just with like one thing that she says. So you kind of, obviously you might not agree with absolutely everything that she says, but some things really hit home. And this one in particular, I had different feelings with, just because I do believe that if you have suggestions, they should be raised. But somebody like Kelly, you've had a very successful business. I'm just starting out. And when I come in and bring a ton of ideas and like try to change everything, it's like, wait a second, I just need to be quiet and follow the lead and just do what you say and what you've done for the past 4 years, because you've had an amazing experience and a very successful business. I shouldn't come in and be like, hey, why don't we do it this way? Hey, this is really different. I think we should change it and do it this way, because I don't know. So that was kind of the feeling that I got with that.
Which leads
it was very much her whole experience was she sat in a boardroom full of like multi-millionaires, and she was not making a lot of money at the time. And she came into the boardroom and these multi-millionaires were like discussing something, and she had mentioned, like, spoke her idea, and they were like, wait a second, who are you? It's like, where did you come from? So they kind of like gut checked her. But I think that if you didn't have somebody who has these brilliant, who has ideas and who has inventions, we wouldn't have things like Apple. You know what I mean? Like, these are people that are brilliant, and they come up with these ideas, and they target these people at the people, and they come up with these amazing inventions. So I go back and forth with that one. I could talk about that one for a really long time. So
one of the things that we talked about going into this as a big group was the idea that a lot of this is to think about it like a cafeteria or a buffet, and you can take the things from her that resound with you, and if something doesn't quite make sense or doesn't speak to you, you can kind of pass that one by. I can also talk about that one for quite a while, because I can see benefits to both sides, like Kristina was saying. But that leads really well into number 3, which is shut up and follow directions. And we should make this a drinking game, because like the amount of times that she said that over the weekend, like she would just say, all you need to do is shut up. And then everybody would scream back and follow directions. She probably said that 3 or 4 dozen times at least throughout the weekend. And really, when you think about it, it's who are you watching? Who are you listening to? Whose directions are you following? Are you following somebody who is just getting started and doesn't really know what they're doing? Or are you following like our team trainings and our recipe for success? Because that's a proven model that really works. And she gave an analogy that really makes a lot of sense. And I know Summer talks about this one a lot, but it's the cheesecake analogy. And if you have, like, let's say I had the award-winning, best in the world cheesecake recipe, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to have this recipe. And I give it to Kristina, and Kristina's like, oh, this was amazing, but I think I want to try to reduce the fat. So I'm going to use the 1/3 fat cheese, cream cheese. And I want to make it a whole grain crust. So I'm going to change that a little bit too. And so you end up changing almost every aspect of it, and you expect to get the same results. And you expect that it's going to be this award-winning cheesecake when you've done really nothing like what the recipe says. And when you have things in front of you, when you have steps in front of you, seriously, shut up and follow directions. And that one spoke to me. I guess it's my Rubiness and growing up with a Marine for a father. But it was like, there are rules. There are, there's things that you can do to be successful. You just have to do them. People have done the trial and error already. We've learned from our mistakes. When Kelly and I started, there was no Coach Basics. Were there challenge packs yet, Kelly? No, I didn't think so. There was none of this stuff. And we had to
challenge groups when I started.
Yeah. We did everything via email. Every day you'd have to get up super early, or I'd do it before I'd go to bed because I'm a night owl, and email people. And, you didn't run stuff on Facebook. You didn't have a group of support. You got a one-on-one email from your coach and you thought it was all directed at you, but shock, it was, a mass email to all 8 of you that are in the group that week. But we had to figure it out. And it's through all that trial and error that we've gotten to where we are, and that we have these systems and we have all of these recipes for success. All we have to do as coaches is plug into it, which I think is really important. Kristina, did you have anything else on the shut up and follow directions? You're muted.
No, I think one of the funny things that Dani said, she was like, if the cheesecake situation, he's like, if you're trying to put low fat, whole grain, all this kind of stuff, if you're trying to make it healthy, if you're trying to lose weight, then you shouldn't be eating cheesecake in the beginning. So stop trying to change my recipe and just do what I said. So I thought that was really good too, because it's similar to how we run our business. We provide the trainings, we provide the outline of what we do, and you just got to follow that, and you're going to be successful. If you try to skip steps, or if you try to make something happen quicker or anything like that. It's just not gonna produce the same outcome.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I know like a lot of people, you know, when they come into this, they think they've got to reinvent the wheel. And, you know, even as a veteran coach, like there are times where I feel like I have to reinvent the wheel, but that's not the case. This business is super simple. I mean, the 3 vital behaviors are vital behaviors for a reason, because it's proven that if you do these tasks every single day, you will be successful with it. But I think it really takes you actually doing those actions, doing those vital behaviors consistently, that you'll start to see the payoff. And every time people start to do that, when they really start to plug in and do the things that they're supposed to be doing, their business will grow. It happens. That's how every one of us became successful with this. It's simply sharing on social media, inviting people, doing your workouts, and reading your personal development. That's all it is. That's the secret. There is nothing more to it. That's all it is. But I think people, until they actually do it and it starts to work, that it really clicks with them. Because I think every single time a coach has like actually plugged in and did these behaviors consistently and over time, no matter if they're getting crickets or no's, it started to pay off. And they've all come back and said it works, because it does. We have this training set up for a reason. You know, we have these tools for a reason, because it works.
Yeah.
You just have to put an effort and do it.
I think
that's the process.
Yeah, and it does take time. Like once you start posting on social media, it does take time. It's not like all of a sudden you make one post that you're a coach and all of a sudden you're going to have people like jumping at you. It does take time. Like people are going to watch for about 4 to 6 months, and then they're going to start to believe you after, you know, some time. It takes some consistency in posting for about 4 to 6 months, and then you start seeing a little bit more activity and people start believing you. But you've got to start somewhere, and that's with your first post and then making it a consistent thing. Who cares if you're blowing up people's news feeds? Who cares if they think you're crazy? Just keep doing it, because I promise that in, 4 to 6 months down the road, 7 months, 8 months down the road, people are just they're going to say yes to you. They're going to believe you, and you're going to have more likes on your Facebook page, on your Facebook post, if that's what you're going for. It's going to happen as long as you're adding good value to people.
One of the things that she talked about, I'm sorry, Owen is just singing, you guys. One of the things that she talked a lot about is that the number one stopper of success is ego. And she talked a lot about letting your ego get in the way. And I was super guilty of that, because of all of my own history and my own stuff of not wanting to fail, not wanting to, look like I couldn't handle it, wanting to make sure that I was winning or that I was right or whatever it is that I was trying to do. Ego always played a big part of that. And in this business, it has been a stopper. I've been one of the people who gets the cheesecake recipe and is like, oh, well, that's nice, but I'm going to do this, this, and this, and let me tweak it and let me reinvent the wheel. And then I'm sitting there looking like, why didn't this just work? Why am I still like at the starting point and I haven't grown forward? And so it's really like being able to be aware and check your own stuff and check your own ego to be able to follow directions, to be able to, not give the excuses of why things aren't getting done or aren't progressing. Because like Kelly was saying, the 3 vital behaviors are the 3 vital behaviors for a reason. And she talked about some 4 tips or 5 tips, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes. But it's the same type of thing though, it's like you've got this for success and we just have to be willing to set our ego aside and follow directions. And Kristina's right. The consistency will really pay off.
And I think that a good part to kind of wrap up that section of what Megan just talked about is doing a self-evaluation, asking yourself, what is stopping you from growing? Why are you still where you are right now in your business? Is that because you're not inviting? Is that because you're not posting on social media? Is that because you're not doing the workouts? Is that because you're not drinking your shakes? Because drinking your shake and working out, that's 2 posts already for the day. If you do personal development, there's another one for you. So those, like, why, if you just simply ask yourself, why are you still here where you are in your business? And then if you go ahead and ask yourself, why are you not doing more? Like, why are you not inviting more people or friending more people or talking to more people? Asking yourself that. And then it was a financial conference at the same time. So she did have a lot to talk about on the money side and being in debt and those kind of things. And then, so one of the questions is, why are you still in debt? If you do have car payments, school loan, all of that yummy stuff that sits in your back pocket, why are you still in debt? Obviously, some people are still in school. Some people went down to 1 income. Like, there are things like that, but those are all excuses, right? Those are the well-planned excuses that we put ourselves in when this business is so easy and so simple. We could be inviting more. We could be talking to more people. We could be exposing our business a lot more. All of that stuff, which will bring in more money, which will go to debt, pay off debt, blah, blah, blah. It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah. One of the things she talked about, this was another one that was one of those, you hear it over and over and over and over and over, was a man without a vision will perish. And it was another, like, call and answer from the audience. A man without a vision will perish. And I think that that's something that we talk about a lot with new coaches. But and I've talked to Kelly a little bit about it since becoming a new coach. But, how often are we, even as seasoned coaches or coaches that are leading teams, how often are we adjusting our vision and growing our vision? Both, for the financial piece, for the impact of, how many people we're helping with our team leadership, like whatever levels it is that you have, having that vision and being able to identify what goal you're working towards keeps you focused. When you're just going about, I posted my Shakeology post today, I posted my workout today, I posted about the kids, I posted about this, but you don't really have a vision, you're not really going to be going anywhere. Or if you get there, you're not going to realize that you've gotten there and made these gains, because you won't have known what the journey looks like. And she talked a lot about, and we talk a lot about the 2 types of people, the 98 percenters and the 2 percenters. The 98 percenters are content to go through life paying with credit cards and living beyond their means and not really having big goals that they're working towards, but they might have little things. And like she was talking about, again, it was kind of a financially based conference as well. But the 98 percenters will either be dead or dead broke by the time they're 65 if they continue to rely on family, friends, or the government for wealth as their main source of income. The 2 percenters are thinking outside the box. They're following directions. They're getting out of debt. They are, creating a life that they want, and they are going to be financially independent. And it's you might not be at that point yet, but it's like, do you want to be the 98% or do you want to be a 2 percenter? And one of the things that she said that like was a massive gut punch for me was she was up there and she said, what's more important, having somebody raise your babies and getting your Starbucks every day, or staying home and being able to raise your kids? And then she said, or cable, or, eating out, or whatever, and she started naming some of these things that so many of us, have as just normal daily living, getting Starbucks, going out to eat, whatever it might be. And, you know, you continue that cycle of debt. You continue having to work harder for the lifestyle that you want. And that was a super, super gut punch for me, because I'm like 2.5 months away from having to go back to work. Our life has completely changed. On Friday, Prentice, there's a really good chance that we're going to find out if Prentice loses his job on Friday. And it would be a pretty immediate change. So I would be the only income in our family. So I would have no choice but to go back to work. So many things are changing, but it's like, what do I want to work towards? What are my end goals, and what's my vision, so that I can stay on a path with my business and not let life interfere and cause me to get sidetracked? Because all of those things seriously can sidetrack you, right? Having to go back to work and having a baby and trying to juggle this and have time for my marriage and everything else that we need to do, I could completely lose focus of this business if I don't have a vision and it's not something that I'm really pushing for every single day. So, Kristina, do you want to talk about the desire and design? Because that was something that really spoke to you.
So she gave a equation, and it's desire plus design equals destiny. So your desires will create, plus your design will create your destiny. So everybody was born with 4 parts to succeed. We were born with them. We were born with enthusiasm. If you see babies, they're always enthusiastic, as you can hear in the background. They persistence. I mean, you can is number 2. Sorry. Children, they will ask a million times how to get something. If they want a piece of candy, Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have this? And then if they don't get it, they're going to go about it another way. Well, how about I go this way and ask Mom for it a different way? They're persistent. They're on top of it all the time. They're adventurous. They're willing to take risks. They are, and then number 4 is their beliefs change their behavior. So whatever they believe at that moment, or whatever they believe, they will change their behavior to succeed at what they believe is right. And those 4 things, we were born with them, but society, and as we grow, fear takes over, and fear starts to get in the way of each of them. So we become less persistent because we're scared to, get on people's nerves if we're posting on Facebook, or if we're inviting. Enthusiasm. Everybody has some sapphire in them. Hate to say it, Kelly. You do, but everybody has a little bit in there. And then just adventurous. I mean, it's all fear just kind of takes part in each of them. That kind of changes you. But your faith in what you believe in and what you're working for will help you tackle each of them. And if your why is strong, and if you have a desire and a true why, then you're going to find those 4 things that we were all born with. As a man, one of the quotes that she says, as a man thinks, you will be. So if you think that you are, a 6-figure earner, then you will be a 6-figure earner, because you will act that way. You will portray that confidence. You will just carry yourself that way. And that type of motivation and confidence, you will attract people to you. I will say, go ahead. I will say just as an example, that happened actually tonight when I went to this gathering that I was at with the women on base. When I go to these events, like Beachbody is not talked about. I am not there to like form and like message people, and I am not there to like create any type of business type transaction with any of these people. That is it. I ate like crap tonight. I'm sitting there eating like dip and everything else, and they're like, "You're eating cake," and I'm like, "Well, I am human. I do eat these things." So, but it was really interesting because I was standing in front of the house, and the girl that hosted it was looking. She does photography, and she has all of her pictures and stuff all over the wall that are very gorgeous. And one of the girls came up to me, and she started asking me to run the whole like officers on the base. She wants me to run their social media like fit club. And just because she's never been a part of my Beachbody stuff, she doesn't even know that I'm a Beachbody coach. She's like, I just know that you work out and you're really awesome at it and you're really motivating on your Facebook page. And she asked me, and she goes, I know that you're moving, but it's all on social media. Maybe you can like help and encourage. And, you know, she goes, whatever you do, I just want you to do it in our group because you're motivating so many people. And I was like, holy cow, like, where did that come from? You know, I've never talked to her about Beachbody one bit. And that's, I don't know, like being persistent and being enthusiastic and really loving what you're doing and having a strong why, it's going to come out and people are going to follow you and just, they're going to want to join you or want to join some aspect of your life.
Yeah. And I just have to completely agree with Kristina, because that is the power of social media. Just because you're not getting likes, just because you're not getting comments, just because people aren't messaging you does not mean people are not watching you. People are watching you all the time. Even people you do not know are watching you. And I can't tell you how many times when I go out in public, you know, people are always, you know, yeah, if I ever go to any gathering, I get the, oh, you know, we don't have anything healthy here. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm going to have a cupcake. Like, watch me eat this cupcake. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. You know, or they're like, I really love watching your workouts. Like, you really inspire me to, you know, get moving again. Or they're, you know, always asking questions about health and fitness and getting into a routine. You know, I'm always getting approached by people that I've never met before, simply because of what I post on social media. And you have a following, you just may not realize it. And that's why you've got to be consistent through those crickets, because you never know who you're inspiring. You know, I've had coaches sign on that have been watching me for years, you know, never said anything, never replied to a message, and then all of a sudden they're ready to go because they've been watching me and following me and want to be a part of what we have. So that's so very important. I think that was a really good, you know, that being persistent, but being persistent in a very value-driven way, you know, not being annoying. You know, you don't want to be knocking down people's doors. And like Kristina said, like when I go out, like I'm not there to talk business. You know, first and foremost, like I want to be a friend. I want to create relationships with people I just like to be around. And the business will naturally come up if you're consistent with your Facebook posts. I mean, it's silly. Like, I actually hate talking about Beachbody. I hate it. Like, I will never bring it up by myself. And this is, you know, a fear of mine out in public. I just don't like to talk about it. But people always bring it up in some way, shape, or form at some point in the conversation. And it's because they see what I do, because I'm so persistent about sharing it with people. So.
And you're enthusiastic about it. You, as much as you might not think that you are, you very much are, because you have, Kelly personally, or you personally have a strong why. I mean, being home with your kids, bringing home hubby, like all of those things, your future farm, like all of these things are very strong to you. So you're going to be persistent and enthusiastic about it.
The thing that kind of goes with this, and I think part of it is the enthusiasm and persistence, but especially the belief is that life and death is powered by your tongue. Your mouth dictates your behavior, and your behavior dictates your results. So even something as simple as, if this happens, then, whatever. If I make 2-star, then we'll have enough money for me to stay home. If I do this. And even having that little bit of doubt in that sentence, like, you don't really hear it, but if is a doubt creator, because it's like saying you might not. And instead, like, changing it, when this happens, we can do this. And I think that, just having that slight mindset shift is really helpful, because then it's like what Kristina was talking about earlier. You can act like a 6-figure earner before you're a 6-figure earner, and act like you're a 2-star coach or a 5-star coach or elite or premier or whatever it is that you are setting your goals towards. Act like you are that coach, and your desire, your design, all of those things will start falling in line. You'll be acting as if that's what you already are, and that's what you already have. And when we were talking the other day, I really liked what Kristina was talking about, that her personal philosophy is that, prayer is important. I'm going to totally mess this up, Kristina, so you'll have to jump in to fix it. But you can't
put feet on your prayers.
Yes, put feet on your prayers. You can't just say, God, I want this to happen, or, why isn't this happening for me, if you're not doing anything about helping create it. And I posted, it's interesting because Kristina and I talked about this when we were chatting on, was it Monday? And then it came up again Monday, and then Tuesday morning I was talking to my husband about it, and it was all in less than 24 hours. I had 3 conversations about the man in the flood. There's a man on a rooftop, and there's a flood, and first a rowboat comes by and tells him to jump in, that they'll save him, and he's like, no, it's okay, God's gonna save me. And then the Coast Guard comes by and they're like, come on, we'll save you. And then a helicopter comes by to save him, and he's like, no, it's okay, God's going to save me. And he ends up drowning, and when he goes to heaven, he's like, God, why didn't you save me? And God's like, I sent a rowboat, the Coast Guard, and the helicopter, and you didn't do anything. You just sat there. And I think that's, I'm certainly guilty of it. I think a lot of us are. We have these dreams, we have these wants, but we get stuck not doing anything, or we get stuck thinking that we can't do it, or we have excuses or fears getting in the way. And again, those are just conveniently placed lies that we're telling ourselves. So I think it's important to have that mindset that you are successful, that you are reaching the goals that you have set forth for yourself. And again, it's part of having that vision.
And then the last part, you ready for the last part, Megan?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we will talk about the 4 business tips. There were 4 business tips given, and I'll just list them off, and then we can kind of go over them. Yeah, but the first one is expose. All businesses need more exposure. So your exposure, obviously, Facebook. You can have wear and share, a cool T-shirt or something that says 90X or 21-day fix. I mean, that's exposure. And then number 2 is relationships. Build relationships with those who you are exposing to. And 3 is presentation. And then 4 is close the transaction. Matt's in the background and said, ABC, always be closing.
What an emerald. Like, that's a very helpful, very precise thing.
Isn't that like a real estate, like little acronym? Modern Family.
He said it's actually used in the military.
Okay.
Perfect.
But Matt actually wrote the first things that Megan went over, the no excuses, no opinions, no suggestions, and then the follow directions. He actually wrote that in chalk in our garage on the wall.
You're a hardcore house.
I know. She said we're hardcore. Yeah, so number one, your business needs exposure. So obviously we already talked about that. We don't really need to go much more into that.
I think, hang on 1 second, Kristina.
Yeah.
One part that she did talk about, so there's for us, there's the easy wear and share. Like, I have my phone case is a Shakeology phone case, because even if I'm just on it, like, I've actually signed up 2 different coaches, or 1 coach and 1 challenge pack, because I had this phone case, and they actually approached me to ask me because they had heard about it and were curious. Not that it's going to always be that easy, but, having that wear and share. I've also started, I'm really sorry, Owen's screaming. I've also started using a Shakeology bottle as my water cup when I go out and about. Not the one that I've had my Shakeology in for the day. But having that be my water bottle, again, it's my water. I'm not doing anything. I'm not talking about it. It's not like I'm super in your face by Shakeology, but it's just that brand recognition, so that when they have that connection of me and Shakeology or me and Beachbody, that's going to kind of help solidify their thinking. But one of the things that she talked a lot about is also the support that you get from your spouse or your partner or your family. And she talked a lot about edifying your partner or your spouse. And like, if your husband worked at Home Depot and they were having an amazing sale on flowers, and like their, the big early spring garden sale, and all their vegetables and their pots and their soil and everything was on sale, and your husband was the manager of that department, you would be telling everybody, look at our amazing flowers. Oh, Prentice helped me get them. Oh, he's so amazing. You should tell your friends. I would be sending as much, as many people that direction. Oh, make sure when you're checking out, mention to the checkout person or find the manager and tell them how amazing your experience was while you were there. Ask for my husband, all of those things. And I don't think it's any different than what we do. And it's not necessarily just having your spouse share your post or, give you a shout out here and there. Like, it needs to be genuine, because otherwise people can see through that. But having that support from your spouse can really help with the exposure too, because that's a whole other social media platform that we have a lot of friends in common on Facebook, but there's tons and tons and tons of people on his Facebook that aren't on mine. And so when he's able to do a natural post about a meal that we've had, or Shakeology, or, something that's going on in our family that's organic, we get a lot of traction from that. And I think that exposure can be really helpful when you're working together as a team.
Dani made the statement that for every one person, there are 2,000 people that they are connected to at least. So making that one connection with just one Facebook friend, that is opening a whole new network of people, 2,000 extra people for your business or whatever it may be.
And for us, think of exposure both as the wear and share, but that's our invite. That's our invite to a coaching at a glance. That's an invite to
It's your Facebook page.
It's your Facebook page. It's your daily life. So our 3 vital behaviors map almost perfectly onto these 4 business tips, but slightly different. And really what it does is break down the invite process, and talk a little bit more about, how to do that, which I think is really helpful maybe for new coaches when the invite gets a little bit overwhelming. The exposure, building the relationship, presenting the product, making the close, those are all very concrete steps that you can work on. So do we want to talk a little bit more about the relationship building, Kristina? So she was talking about really just building relationships. The idea, we already do it, but forming and figuring out what people need. And one thing that she talked about that was really interesting to me, to a hammer, everything is a nail. To a hammer, everything is a nail. And it took me a second, but it's like, think about it. How many people have you said Shakeology is the solution? Or this workout is the solution? So it's being aware that, your product shouldn't always be the answer, that the relationship building should come first. The relationship always comes before the product or the sale, because you have to have the trust, you have to have the buy-in from somebody. And, building the relationship with the people you're exposing to is going to help it feel less like a selling and more like a sharing, which I think a lot of us get stuck. I don't want to sell. I'm not a good salesperson. You hear that a lot. But when it's somebody that you are good friends with, and, they're asking for a recommendation or help doing something, you giving them a suggestion is no different than me asking somebody, in Squamish, who do you go to for your hair? Or where's the best place to get this done? They're gonna want to naturally share what works for them for that situation. And so that's a relationship building thing. You win by, hang on a second.
So building relationships, this is where forming comes into play. So just starting by asking somebody like, how are you doing? And start talking to them about family. So F in form is family. And then you talk to them about occupation, what they're doing with their life. And then R is recreation, what they do in their free time, all of that stuff. It's just a natural conversation that you have with people. Sometimes when new coaches hear the word inviting, they get nervous because they think that we're sending like a specific message saying, hey, come join my challenge group. Like, I need you to do my challenge group at the end. Sorry, hold on.
I'm going to kind of go off a little bit with Kristina and Megan were saying about relationships and kind of the approach I take with it, because I'm kind of a quiet person. I'm not very outgoing. Like, I'm kind of shy. But what I like to do is I kind of make it a game, especially like my kids are in sports. So I'm meeting a lot of new moms just on the soccer team. And old Kelly would sit in her car or sit kind of by herself and not want to talk to anybody approach me. But now I kind of make it a game. Like, now I want to find out about people. I want to, see what they're about. And I want to try to find those things that we have in common. So I'll start asking those questions. I'll start paying attention to what they're wearing. For example, like yesterday I was watching the kids practice, and there was a mom there and she was in scrubs. So I was asking her, is she a nurse? And she started talking about how she worked at a cancer center. And so I was kind of interested in that, like it must be a hard job to have. And she was, talking about what she does and, the feelings involved with that. And then we got into, she ended up she was a teacher before. Like she just had this great story. And then I found out she was like getting into roller derby. So we had like a great conversation about that. These are things like I don't really know a lot about, but are kind of intriguing, like especially the roller derby thing. And so just, sharing a laugh with that. And then, as that conversation was progressing, then she started asking me questions, like, what do I do? And then that's right there. That's an opener. So I shared with her, I'm a health and fitness coach. And then she was like, oh, like now I see why you were like so excited. She had told me she got a squat bar or a squat rack in their garage. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So then we started talking about that. And then I was talking to her about what I do and, challenge groups. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm really interested. I found her on Facebook and, I'm going to talk to her about our next challenge group because it was something that she had a need for. And it all just stemmed from, I wasn't in it to get a sale. I was just in it to start a conversation with another mom, build that camaraderie with our team. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. I like to think of, I'm always networking, not necessarily for the business, but people always have something that they can offer you in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's, if someone's a mechanic or an electrician, or, I'm always, like, those are great people to have in your life. If you're a hairdresser, like, those are all things that, I love to have people in my life that, if I ever have a question about something, I know who to go to and I can refer people to them. So that's kind of how I like to take an approach to building my relationships, is just looking for ways to add value to people and, just seeing what people have to offer and seeing what they're about and finding that common ground, because we have it with somebody in some way, shape, or form. It may be, a shallow common ground. It may be something a lot deeper. But if you really take the time to have a conversation with somebody, you'll be surprised about how many things you have in common, and how, like, I actually really enjoy like talking to people now. So if you have a hard time grasping the concept of how to form with people, just kind of turn it into a game and see how much stuff you can find out about somebody before you start sharing anything about yourself or your business.
And she did a role play on stage actually with one of the girls from our team to show you both how to do it and then how not to do it. And I think the most important thing is to make it natural. Like, don't force the conversation. Don't say, okay, first I'm going to ask you about family. What's your family like? Do you have kids? Are you married? Like, have a natural conversation like a human being with another mom at the soccer game or at the baby play group or, wherever you are. But like, be a human. Don't, so practice it. If you need to practice it with one of the coaches on our team or practice with your upline or your spouse, like family, occupation, recreation, message of, oh, I'm a beach buddy coach. I whatever it is your message is going to be, whether it's coaching, whether it's challenge group, whether it's Shakeology, whether it's nutrition support, whatever it might be natural with your delivery so you don't feel like a robot and it's not this like, it doesn't feel scripted. I think that's the biggest thing. When Dani went back and did the examples of kind of what and how not to do it, it's comical, when she's standing up there on stage and going through this, but then, you're looking around knowing that other people in this room have done every single thing that she's saying don't do. So that's an opportunity to learn.
Uncomfortable. It makes everybody feel really uncomfortable. If you're getting an uncomfortable feeling, then it's not right.
Yeah.
Basically, you'll know it. I've done it. We've all done it. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then number 3 is presentation. So just have, basically her whole spew about presentation is have a product. And we do. We have Beachbody, and we have Beachbody programs, and we have Shakeology, and we have all these products that we can present to somebody to help them get stronger, lose weight, get their nutrition on track. They have skincare. I mean, don't know much about it, but apparently I maybe should look into that with these wrinkles on my eye. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. And then 4, close the transaction. So always be closing as Matt ABC. Yeah. But if you've already had exposure, if you've built a relationship, if you presented the product, if you've done all of those things, and they don't happen within hours, like that's the thing. It doesn't just like happen within one chat session with somebody. Like it's over. It can take a while. You know, you might have to form for 2 weeks or a month. Or I've been forming with one girl, for like 3 months. I feel like she would be an absolutely amazing coach. And she finally, like 3 days ago, messaged me and was like, hey, you've planted the seed in my head. I've been watching you. I love all of your posts and I want to do this. Like for the past 3 months, and I'm like sitting over here banging my head against the table because this girl could have done like rock the house. She's amazing. She already does it. She already does it. She already does all the programs. It's just the matter of her signing up.
Yeah.
So
the important part to remember with the close, I took a note and it was so important. It got a star next to it. So, it's got to be a good tip. Making it about the needs and goals of the person, not the sale. It has nothing to do with a Success Club point. It has nothing to do with earning a trip or qualifying for a rank or anything else. The close always needs to be about the person and about their goals and about helping them, because otherwise it's going to erase everything you've already done and they're going to see right through it.
I have the same exact thing starred, and I just have every human being desires to be honored. So just honor them as a person and as like an individual. And, every person desires that. I know me personally, I do.
Yeah. There's a 5th one. It goes on. There's actually 8 different tips that she gives. But I think the 5th one is really important because it's cultivating the relationship with people that you've already closed so they go out and share your brand. And I think that's really important to remember, especially with challengers, because so many times, like if a challenger isn't active in your Facebook group or isn't actively working with you right now, you might not be connecting with them as much. You might not continue forming. That relationship might get fragile. I actually have a coach who's an amazing new coach. I know she's going to listen to this later. She wasn't able to get on tonight, but I got connected through her to her because she was talking to one of my customers who's worked with me for several years about Shakeology. And she knew that she had used the product and had gotten great results with a program and asked her. And so what did that person do? I've stayed connected to that person. I've stayed, we're Facebook friends. And I told her the next time I'm in Ohio to visit my family, like I'm driving out to her farm because she's got this amazing farm I can't wait to see. But what did she do? She gave my name to this person. I got a message from Heather saying that she was interested in becoming a coach and had, given her my name as somebody to talk to and somebody that would be great to work with. People don't fall in your lap that easy all the time, but it is a great example of how important it is to maintain those relationships and continue to build and cultivate the relationship with people that you have worked with in the past, so that they continue to be good ambassadors for what you're doing, sharing what you do. Because like Kristina said earlier, every person knows at least 2,000 other people. And you want to be top on their mind if somebody comes to them saying, talking about fitness or nutrition or wanting to lose weight or too busy to eat lunch at work. You want to be the person that they say, oh, my friend Kelly could totally help you with that. Can I give her your information? And to make that connection. Anything else? Do you want to go through the gems at 7? We've taken an hour already. I don't want to
probably cut it.
I think gems should be a whole new call.
Yeah, we'll do that a whole other time, because I think that definitely needs to be gone over and in depth. Yeah, and I don't want to keep you guys here till like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, no, it will be.
It was an entire half a day crazy downstairs. So, but thank you guys so much. Lots of good takeaways. Hopefully, you guys took some notes, and have some information that you can start plugging into. Get some aha moments. Maybe turn those into action moments. Hopefully, and really start to create that vision for what this can be. We're all here, and we've all created this business by doing these things. There's nothing we're holding back from you guys, and I want you guys to believe that you can do it and really create that vision for what you want to create, and start to make that list of people you want to have go along with you. So don't forget, we have Coaching at a Glance next week, so start inviting. This is a great way. Talk about this team call tonight. Actually, let's just do a screenshot real quick, and I can post it in the group and you guys can share it. Like, this is a great way to share the coaching opportunity. Yeah, because this is, I think for me, this is my favorite thing. Huh?
I asked Kristina to go get Charlie. Where is she?
Oh, yeah, we can share the
bed.
Babies. Like, this is how we get it done.
Thank you, babe. What else do you need?
You should have, like, a bottle of vodka, Kristina. Anyways, okay, so everyone smile. Okay, so I'll share that in the group. But this is, like, things like this, these are great little breadcrumbing ideas to share what this team is all about. For me, this is the number one thing I love about coaching, is just being around people that I really enjoy being around. I mean, how often can you really create a business where you can handpick the people you work with? I mean, gone are the days where I work with people I just do not get along with, because I just don't invite those people to my team if I do not get along with them. So, number one thing, gotta love coaching. All right, guys. So I'll share that in the group. And if you guys have any questions or need anything, don't be afraid to message us or post on the team page. So,
can I say one last thing really fast, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing that she closed day 1 with. Be faithful with what you have and you will grow more. Systems are in place, so you need to just keep it simple and follow directions.
And do your 3
Perfect.
minutes.
Yes.
Consistently. All right. You guys take care.